In our last lesson, we discussed the phrases of purpose or the clauses of purpose, and we talked about some words, some phrases which are used to express the purpose of doing a certain action. In today's lesson, we will have a quite similar lesson to the one of the last lesson, and that's the clauses of reason. Some of you might wonder, what's the difference between a clause of purpose and a clause of reason? Well, the difference is in the meaning. So, the purpose of doing a certain action is why you do that action in order to achieve a certain goal or a certain target. So when I say, for instance, I study hard in order to pass the exam. Well, the fact of the matter is I haven't passed the exam yet. The exam is a future event. But these days I study hard in order to pass the exam, which is a goal that I want to achieve in the future. But when I say the match was cancelled because it rained heavily, so what happened first is the heavy rain, and as a result of the heavy rain, the match was called off or the match was cancelled. So because here is one of those conjunctions used to show the reason that something happened in the first place. So the event or the action happened as a result of that reason. But the purpose is your goal or your target. You do a particular action in order to accomplish or to achieve a certain objective. So you do the action first, and then the end or the aim is achieved later. That's in the clauses of purpose, used with expressions like so that, in order to, and so on. All of the conjunctions and phrases that we talked about last lesson. But in today's lesson, we will be talking about other conjunctions, other phrases, which talk about the reason behind something happening. So the reason happened first, and as a result of that, an action or an event occurred or took place later. And the most famous conjunction for that is because. So because is the most common and the most important conjunction of reason. For example, we say we cancelled the picnic because it started to rain. We cancelled the picnic because it started to rain or because it started to storm. So as you can see, because here introduces the reason for cancelling the picnic, and that was the storm or the rain. As a result, the picnic was cancelled. And because is followed by a clause, which means it's followed by a subject and a verb. So we say, we cancelled the picnic because it started to storm or because it stormed. So we have after because the subject, which is it, and the verb, which is stormed. There is a derivative of because, and that's because of. Because of is also used to refer to the reason why an action happens. But because of is followed by a noun or a gerund. So in order to use because of in the very same example, we say we cancelled the picnic because of the storm. As you can see, so we follow because of with a noun phrase, which is the storm. We can also say we cancelled the picnic because of having too few people. Because of having too few people. So many people apologized, many people decided not to join us on the picnic, so we decided to cancel it eventually. So we canceled the picnic because of having too few people. We have a verb ing, having, after because of, or we cancel the picnic because of the storm. We have a noun or a noun phrase after because of, which is the storm. Right, so what other conjunctions or phrases are used to show the reason for a certain action? Well, we have many of those. Two common ones in speaking or in conversations in informal English are seeing that and seeing as. So these two expressions have the same meaning of because. For example, we say, seeing that it's raining, we should stay indoors. Seeing that, you can remove seeing that and put seeing as instead of it. So you can say, seeing that it's raining, or seeing as it's raining, we should stay indoors. The two of them are synonymous to because. So you can say, because it's raining, we should stay indoors. So the first two phrases that we are studying today to refer to the reason for a certain action, or for the reason because of which a certain action happens, are seeing that and seeing as. And as I said, these two are informal. We use them more in conversations, in daily dialogues, and in colloquial situations or informal situations. Another conjunction which is used to refer to the reason for something is since. Well, I'm not talking here about since as a time expression. So we can, for example, use since as a time expression by saying, I feel very happy since I have lived here. I feel very happy, or I'm feeling very happy since I have lived here, which means since the beginning of living here, since I started to live here. In these examples, since is a time expression or is a time conjunction, a conjunction of time. But since in our context today is used as a conjunction of reason, it has the same meaning of because. For example, since you're here, let's begin the meeting. Since you're here, let's begin the meeting. So since here is a synonym to because. We can remove it and replace it with because, saying, because you're here, let's begin the meeting. And as you can see, since is followed by a clause, a subject and a verb. Since you are here, the same as because, which is also followed by a subject and a verb. And that's why we can replace since in this example with because. Right, we have two other examples of conjunctions of reason. And these are in that and in as much as. Well, in that, two separate words. In that is a formal or an academic alternative for because. Let's have an example. The decision was surprising. The decision was surprising in that it contradicted with earlier statements. In that it contradicted with earlier statements. So in that, in this example, it means because. The decision was surprising because it contradicted with earlier statements. So in that is also considered as an alternative for because. We also have in as much as. Be careful. In as much as is one word, and that's quite uncommon. That's rather odd, but this is the conjunction and how it is. In as much is written as a single word, spelled INASMUCH, inasmuch as. As is a separate word, right? Also, this expression, it means because. For example, he is responsible inasmuch as he was in charge of the project. He is responsible. Why? Inasmuch as he was in charge of the project. Also, inasmuch as is a synonym or an alternative for because, and this one is also very formal, and it's most commonly used in legal contexts. You can find it in documents about the law, in contracts, and in all these legal contexts. All right. Two other synonyms are due to and owing to. Due to is a synonym for owing to, and both of them mean because of. If you remember what we said a few minutes ago, we said that because of is followed by a noun or a gerund. That's a verb ing for. Also, due to and owing to are followed by a noun or an ing form, a gerund. For example, the game was cancelled due to bad weather. So why was the game cancelled? Because of bad weather, or due to bad weather. As you can see, due to is followed by a noun phrase, which is bad weather. Also, another example for owing to, we can say, owing to the delay, or owing to being late. Let's take this one. Owing to being late, as you can see, owing to here is followed by a gerund or an ing form. Owing to being late, which means because of being late, we missed the train. So due to and owing to have the same meaning of because of, similar to as a result of. As a result of, which is also a third synonym for them, and it also can be followed either by a noun or a noun phrase, or by an ing form or a gerund. Let's have an example for as a result of. We can say, as a result of poor planning. As a result of poor planning. That's a noun phrase, poor planning. The event failed. The event failed because of poor planning, due to poor planning, owing to poor planning. All of them are possible in this example or in this context. Two last conjunctions which can be used with the meaning of because are for and with. Well, for is a coordinating conjunction. It's one of those conjunctions that we call fanboys. Fanboys is a mnemonic which consists of 7 letters, as you can see, FANBOYS. These 7 letters correspond to 7 conjunctions which are used in compound sentences, and we call them coordinating conjunctions. For, or the F in fanboys, the very first letter in that mnemonic stands for the word for, and it's used here with the meaning of because. But be careful. If you want to use for with the meaning of because, it must be in the middle of the sentence. You cannot use for with the meaning of because at the beginning of the sentence. You can't do that. It must be in the middle of the sentence. Most probably it will be preceded by a comma. For example, he left before he was late. He left for he was late. So he left, comma, for he was late, which means because he was late. Also, for can be used with the meaning of because of. She was looking much better for her stay in hospital. She was looking much better for her stay in hospital, which means as a result of her stay in hospital, which means because of her stay in hospital. So for can be used with the meaning of because, or it can be used with the meaning of as a result of, or because of. And the last conjunction from the list of the conjunctions of reason we are discussing today is with. We can use with the meaning of because, but in this case, with is used without a verb. For example, with everyone exhausted, we decided to end the meeting early. Again, with everyone exhausted, we decided to end the meeting early. This means because everyone was exhausted, but there is no verb. The verb was has been removed. So instead of saying because everyone was exhausted, we removed was, which is the verb, and we replaced because with the word with. So it became, or the sentence has become, with everyone exhausted, we decided to end the meeting early. So as you can see, with can be used with the meaning of because, providing that in the clause in which with is used, we take out the verb or we remove the verb. And here we come to the end of today's lesson, which was mainly concerned about the conjunctions or the phrases of reason. And I hope you can tell the difference after watching this video and after watching the previous video. You can tell the difference between what a reason and what a purpose is, what a reason is and what a purpose is. And you understand that the reason is why something happens. So the reason happens first and then the action happens later as a result. The purpose is your goal, your aim, your end, your target, your objective, why you do the action. So you do the action first in order to achieve or to attain the purpose or the objective you aspire to do or you aspire to have. As usual, it's always a pleasure to see you in my lessons, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson. Stay tuned for our next episodes. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.